you have recently been appointed the executive director of CARPHA. Tell us about that. Tell us who you are and tell us about your vision as the new executive director.
So on the 1st of July of 2019, just over 3 weeks ago, I started as the executive director of CARPHA. My history in public health is very long. I was formerly the Chief Medical Officer of Barbados for 12 years between 2005 and 2017. And I had some stints away working with WHO and also with same CARPHA as director between 2015 and 2016. And then in October 2017, I became Assistant Director General at the World Health Organization headquarters. My portfolio was climate and other determinants of health. That ended in April, and lo and behold, I am here. So the vision for CARPHA is first to consolidate CARPHA because it's a very young organization, only 6 years old, and so we have to go from what I call toddler stage to a little more firmness in its mission to advance public health, healthier people, healthier spaces, healthier Caribbean. So the vision is to consolidate CARPHA. We're going to be having an evaluation of the work of CARPHA starting, it's just started, and to ensure that we do fulfill the mandate in the intergovernmental agreement to serve the member states of the Caribbean, and to ensure that we promote the development agenda of the Caribbean as well.
Okay. Talk to me now about I know we've seen it in the news where we're expected to have a heat wave in the region, and people might be getting a little concerned, like what is with all this heat? What are some of the ways that people can maintain being healthy, stay hydrated, etc.? Is this something to worry about?
Well, first of all, the Caribbean is a hot region, but we do know that we have been having very hot temperatures. We're recording record temperatures in the region of the Americas generally. And so I believe this is why PAHO gave the statement. But in terms of the Caribbean, we have long known how to keep ourselves cool. So I believe that the statement is just to ensure that people are a little cautious, because sometimes you can underestimate a situation. So the whole idea is to keep hydrated, and I'm talking about water. I'm not talking about sugary drinks. I'm not talking about sports drinks because they have hidden amounts of sugar, but I'm talking about water. There's also the whole idea of ensuring that you're appropriately dressed when you're outside. For those people who are working outside, it's going to be important that they monitor or are monitored if it's a work site to ensure that they do not have heat exposure. So hydration, monitoring the situation. A lot of people would be saying, well, why isn't she saying use air conditioning? But the world is having a crisis of cooling as it affects the greenhouse gas emissions. And so I would say to, as a last resort, go for air conditioning. But of course, there are some situations where it's warranted. There are some vulnerable people that we have to pay attention to, the elderly, those who are ill, those who cannot help themselves. So those persons in the community who know that they have vulnerable people, they should monitor them and ensure that they're fine in terms of hydration.
Okay. All right, now we're going to move on to another equally important health topic. I know you recently issued a statement about Ebola and being aware of it and so on. Can you tell us about that? Should people be in the CARICOM region be concerned about Ebola?
Well, let's set the context. The World Health Organization has recently announced that the Ebola outbreak is a public health emergency of international concern. But if you read that statement, they are speaking about the risk being very low for the regions such as ours. It's an issue for nearby countries or the actual country in question. But the reason why CARPHA issued a statement about Ebola is to put it in the context of how low the risk is. So to use the opportunity to assess and evaluate systems, not just within the Ministry of Health, but systems with other partners, for example, port health. You cannot have a porous border. And so I am thinking of more a situation where I'm telling people, yes, WHO issued a statement saying that the Ebola outbreak is a public health emergency of international concern. But no, it is not a situation where there will be an imminent case of Ebola coming to the Caribbean. So it's just a matter of assessing systems to ensure that we have the right support to give to the member states, the Caribbean member states. Tomorrow we're going to be having a meeting with some key partners so that there is the holistic perspective of how this is managed. And so we are looking at the other partners that we have in this regional space who can make preparation more conducive. So soon after that, any interactions with countries will be framed by a broader partner view. It's very important that the general public is aware that it is not an issue of imminent danger. So one of our other partners, a very key partner in this whole issue, is going to be the tourism industry. So we have also been communicating with the tourism industry, because one thing we do not want is that countries put measures in place that are not necessary. And this whole issue of stopping persons from traveling, stopping persons from coming into the Caribbean countries, that is not necessary. And this is why we are working with the countries, working with the tourism industry, so there are no inappropriate measures put in place, not just persons, but also cargo. We are not at that stage. So we will be working to ensure that there is just the view of the systems and no inappropriate cessation of travel or movement of goods.
Okay, all right. Do you have any other final comments that you'd like to make?
Just to say that I was quite pleased to be part of the 10th general meeting of the UN and CARICOM, where there was a review of the work that had gone on over the 2-year period between the 9th meeting and this one. I'm quite pleased at the work that we did together and the statement that will soon be issued.